Welcome to the podcast She is Fab, where we discuss all things fab, women empowerment, and life coaching. My name is Evelyn, also known as the Fab Chiefess, and I am a mindset transformation coach.
Welcome to another episode of the She is Fab podcast. I'm Evelyn, your host, mindset transformation coach. And today I am joined by Janelle McMiller. She is the founder and CEO of Syncquility, which she'll tell us more about in a bit. She's an inspirational speaker and growth mindset guide that focuses on gratitude and forgiveness. And her motto is Envision, Hustle, Receive. Welcome, Janelle.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me today. I love the intro. Great job.
You are so welcome. Thank you. That's my second compliment on that.
Oh, nice.
I'm so excited to have you here and just, understand more about your background, how you got started, and of course, offer nuggets of wisdom to the audience. So tell us more about you and your business.
Yeah, so some of the things that you didn't hit on because we barely know each other, but I whenever we talk about titles and labels and all the hats that we wear, I like to also mention that I'm a mom. I have two children. They are about to be 18 and 13, so this is like a big milestone year. I'm a wife. I'm married to my best friend and soulmate. I'm also a sister, a friend, a daughter. So those are just some other hats that I wear with pride. And yeah, business owner, and that's, a full-time job when you're a business owner and you're a solopreneur. You're the marketing agency of your business and you're the assistant and you're the website developer. Like, you are all of the things. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, folks, you made a good point there. Folks don't realize that you have a title, but there's so much more behind that, who you are as a person, your interactions, the roles that you play, and the roles that you play in your business, from CEO to marketer to customer service to web designer,
Yeah.
all the things.
You do all of it.
Exactly. Which is something, that you can expand upon here for those that are listening or watching on YouTube that are aspiring entrepreneurs. It's not always an easy journey. And if most folks knew what it actually takes, they might not take that step. So enlighten us on your journey.
Okay, so I have been very blessed, and it might sound crazy to say that, but I've been blessed to start my business through this COVID era that we're in. Both my coaching practice and Synquility was born in the summer of 2020. But before I even get there, especially while talking about all the things that go into being an entrepreneur, I would love to just share my journey, like from the beginning of me thinking, hey, well, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do this thing, because I think that we hear a lot of stories and it's like, well, how long? It's like the iceberg. Like, you see the tip and it's like, you just don't see all the work. So 2015, 2016 is when I first started coaching. But at that time, it was like a side hustle, like I was working full time. I had this great job, and of course, being a mom and a wife and all these other roles that I was playing. But I had found this product. A friend had introduced me to this product called Shakeology. So if you're into like MLMs, fitness, you maybe have heard of Beachbody. And
Sure
yep. She introduced it to me though, because I was having chronic migraines, headaches, and a lot of stomach issues at the time. And she'd heard that it could help with that. And it's this superfood shake. So it gave me hope. I tried everything that I could possibly imagine before. And once I started taking it consistently, it really did. Like, everybody wants a magic pill. And like, that was my magic pill. It cured my chronic migraines and a lot of the stomach issues that I was having. And so I wanted to it started with that passion of like, oh my gosh, I want to tell anyone and everyone who's suffering with these symptoms about this magic potion and see if it could help them. And when I got that opportunity, I realized, because, and obviously somebody who was like, oh, you should be a coach. So it came with like all the things, like the fitness programs and the whole shebang. And I wasn't really into, like, I've never been this hardcore workout person or into fitness, but I was like, okay, if I can use this like avenue to be able to talk to women and share, then I'll do that. And so I signed up as a coach. But like I said, it quickly turned into like, how can I help women to learn about the power of our thoughts and that we can create our reality, and like all of this goodness is at our fingertips because it's within us. I had been on my own personal growth journey since 2013, and I'd really taken such a big pivot in my life and completely changed who I was. And I did that through understanding. I read this book, The Secret, and then of course some other things happened to me, but it allowed me to believe in myself while taking this huge leap of faith, and then knowing like how incredible our brains are and what we can do with them, and how we can, I didn't know these words at the time, but manifest with intention our reality. At the time I was just like, what is the law of attraction? What does this mean? Like, how do I do this? So I had all of that going into this, like 2015, 2016. Now I'm going to be a coach. Now I'm going to teach and share all of these practices that I've been learning along these years. And that is when, so it was like mid 2016, like 2016, it was when I thought, I want to do this full time. Like, I know I have gifts and I have so many stories. I've healed myself through so much trauma. And I know that I went through all of that for a reason and for a greater purpose. Now my husband was like, you want to do what? Again, I was working for a great company. I had great benefits, great paycheck, lots of stability. And it scared him, I think, a little bit, especially because especially at that point, I was into a lot of what some would refer to as the woo. So crystals and like these modalities that people are like, wait, what does it actually do? Like, manifesting, visualizing. And he wasn't fully on board. He could see the things I was doing and he was happy for me, but he was like, I don't know if this could be a full-time thing for you to do. So there was some hesitation. So I just kind of took that dream and I put it in my back pocket. And I just kept doing what I was doing, working full-time, doing coaching on the side. And then it wasn't until 2018 that I started saying I was going to create a life I'm obsessed with. And I have that picture right there. It says, create a life you're obsessed with. And it was because everything else in my life, I was truly obsessed with. From my kids, my husband, this life I had created. We moved into our like dream house. Everything I had attracted into my life, I was like, this is amazing. However, there's a couple little things, like little missing puzzle pieces for me to gather so that my puzzle could be complete. And I went on this like more of a mission into my coaching, and I started working more one-on-one with clients. That was just mindset coaching. So there was none of the Beachbody stuff. I had said goodbye to that chapter in my life. And trying to think. So, I was also coined the manifesting queen. So like just this nickname, but everyone started coming to me. They were like, teach me how to manifest, teach me how to manifest. And what that was really doing was, I believe that the universe sends us signs. And that was me receiving these messages that like, yeah, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to help these women. You're supposed to put yourself out there and teach all these things that you've learned. So 2019 was the big year. I'm trying to speed through this as quickly as I can. When I decided, all right, I've been saving, I've been pouring into myself, I've been learning, I've been experimenting, I've done all the things. Now I want to quit the corporate world. My husband had been watching me. He was really proud. He had seen just the success I had done already while maintaining this full-time job. So I think he had that security of like, okay, we can do this. She can make this like leap of faith. Hopefully it works out. And I put in my notice, and I remember just feeling, it was the same feeling I had in 2013 when I really just had enough belief to take that leap of faith. And that's what I did again in 2019. Like I had enough belief in my abilities and in the universe really conspiring and having my back that I felt like, okay, I can. And I did. And yeah, it was amazing. Well, the thing that happened though is while I was working and doing all the things, I was also an assistant for this lady. And she had this company that was very much in alignment with what I wanted to do as far as helping women and making just a greater change in the world. And she asked me if I would be her director of operations. And I was like, okay, shift, like there's a little bit of shift in my dream here. But I thought, you know what? This actually gives me more time to save up more monetary abundance, right? Because I know this is going to come with a really nice paycheck and I can still do the things that I want to do. And I was very clear with her, like, I won't be an employee. I'll do subcontracted work. Here's my non-negotiables. And she was amazing with all of it. And I went all in, but it was like all in with her dream and her vision that was almost, I felt like mine. Did that for a few months, and then now 2020 comes, and as soon as 2020 hit, like before COVID, just like 2020, I felt this shift. So I left my corporate, I like to say retired from the corporate world. That was in July. I started working, doing the director of operations position in August. And now like January, February, I felt out of alignment. I felt like there was something going on. I didn't know. It's kind of like, you know, when you can just feel like, oh, everything's transpiring. What is it going to be? And instead of being scared, I was just very curious. I was like, okay, what's going to happen next? And she had called me to her home in April, like late April, early May, to let me know that her dreams had shifted. Like she didn't want to have this company. She didn't want to do these things anymore. And I was like, all right, universe, I hear you. Okay, let me back up just a moment. Or you know what? I might just visit that. I'm going to table that because maybe I wasn't meant to say it. I'm just going to go a little deep. I'm very bad at short stories. Let me just tell you in your audience now. I want to give you all the juiciness. So I'll take you into this part. After I had this talk with her, I just kind of surrender. And I asked the universe, like, what am I supposed to do? What's next? Where do I go with this? Now, this has COVID's now, people are paying attention to it. We're kind of in that lockdown state. And I went into my shower. I feel like my shower is like my portal. It's my place where I can really connect to God's spirit universe and get like divine downloads. And so I get in there, and as soon as I do, I had noticed that I put this shower like coffee scrub in my shower, but I never use it. It's like, you know, as women, we have like candles or perfumes or lipsticks, or like when the perfect time happens, that's when I'll use this.
We'll use
so
it.
I thought, yeah. So I was like, what better time than now? So people will be able to view this. So I'm like, you don't even have to imagine, you can watch me. I'm like scrubbing my body with this coffee sugar scrub stuff. And I'm figuratively and literally washing everything off of me, like any doubts, any yucky feelings that I had, any nervousness, limiting beliefs, like all of it. I'm just watching it go down the drain. And then I told the universe, like, okay, now send me the message. What am I supposed to do? Well, at this point in my life, my secret sauce was all wrapped up in gratitude and forgiveness. I had done so much forgiveness work. And I felt like that is what allowed me to call back my power and be the woman that I was. And in order to get to that space of forgiveness, I had welcomed in gratitude. And I had really went from like, everyone knows how to say thank you. We're taught that when you're young. But I had understood how to embody gratitude and really adopt that perspective. And it was like, I just got this message, help women with gratitude and forgiveness. And it came to me in like this way of, I saw a course, like help women who don't even know how to ask for support, give them this availability to take this course. And I get out of the shower because I'm like, because all these thoughts are now coming to my head. Like I could see what the course, the layout was, what I was going to put in there, the videos I was going to make, like it was all there. And I get out of the shower, wrap my towel around me, like I don't even dry off. And I go over to my journal. I'm an avid journaler. And I just start writing it all down. Like as I'm writing down this course, it was like, I start hearing like, okay, in mastermind, you need to have a mastermind because some women will want that community support with it. Okay, well, but other women need you to hold their hand. So you need to do coaching on specifically gratitude and forgiveness. And I'm just like, writing down like as fast as I can. And then I take this dry erase board, and I had brought it in from our garage and never used, like we'd gotten it, put it away, you know, again, just something else that we do, and tucked it away. And then I was like, obviously I brought this up here for a reason. And I thought, in order to become this next version of myself, how do I need to change my identity? Like, who is this girl? What does she look like? How does she act? What do I need to let go of to make space for what's coming in? Mm-hmm. And one of the first things that came, and I'm closing my eyes and I have this vision of like brown hair, which I had like light brown with like highlights at the time, like this dark brown hair with bangs. And I hadn't had bangs since I was a baby, like a child. And I was like, wait, what? And sometimes that's just how messages come to me. I sit there and I'm like, okay, universe, wait a second. What are you telling me? But I was like, all right. And I kid you not, I put together my course, my mastermind. I went and cut my hair. I dyed it all dark. Like I did all the things, and I went all in on myself, but I was still working really for this lady, still giving a little bit, but at like 70%. So then she lets me know for 100% certain. And I'm trying to think, I think it was in transition during my mastermind that sold out too. Like it just sold out so quick, which was amazing. I've had one, I'm in my second gratitude forgiveness mastermind right now, but so she, oh my gosh, I just got such an excited energy that I forgot where I was at. She let me know, I think this is where I was going. She let me know that she for sure was done. She was letting go of the company. If I wanted to have any part of it, I could, but she was washing her hands of it. And in that moment, I knew, you know what? Like sisterhood wounds run deep and women need and deserve community and support, because when we go through things, we should have our sisters around us. And I have such a great support system within my family. And I know that not everyone has that. And so I was like, okay, I'm adding on to my coaching practice and I'm going to have a community. Like I'm going to do this whole other thing. And if I may just go into that, because that's another like just great story, as I was sitting at my mom's kitchen table and I was sitting there with my daughter and I was just thinking like, okay, what am I going to like, what's my business name going to be? Like I had all this like happiness and I could feel the abundance. I could feel the need, but it was like, what will the name be? And I'm writing down. So with me, I'm all about feelings and emotions. I'm a highly emotional, intuitive human. And I'm writing down, how do I want these women to feel when they're embraced in our community? And as I'm doing that, my daughter and then I would say a word. So we had Google up and Instagram. And when we would think of a word that maybe would fit, we would search it like, okay, well, what comes up? And all of a sudden my daughter says, Synquility. And my mom goes, that's it. And I was like, what is that word? I go into Google, nothing. The only time I've ever seen Google say there's nothing for this search. Go into Instagram. Really? Yeah. Look in hashtags, nothing. And so I was like, you're right. And it was so beautiful, Evelyn, because it was like, you take the word apart and you have sync. And it made me think of how I wanted to be in sync with these women. I wanted us to blend together to share our lives and not have to worry, no comparison, no judgment, no shame, just no, even like I'm an entrepreneur, here's my expertise, or it's just come as you are, just be whoever you are. And then Quility kind of played on like tranquility and the peacefulness and the love and the purity. And so I got really like, I knew, okay, I'm gonna start this business, so I need a lawyer. And I was all in. I was like, I'm hiring a lawyer. I'm going to trademark this name because it's not a name. I want to register my business. I'm going to create this community. And it happened in like a month. Like it was very quick. I maybe looked a little crazy to some people that were like, oh my gosh, you're doing so many things. And it's like in the midst of COVID now, like, what are you, how are you doing this? But it felt so good. It felt so right. It was like that was one of my missing puzzle pieces. And as soon as I created this community for these women to come into, watching women link arms really. And it's online, but it's, when you have a screen energy, we're all just energy, and the screen doesn't prevent that energy from flowing. So we could come together and, I don't it's been this process that has been an extraordinary process. And I have masterminds and master classes and all these other things that I've built on, but it all comes back to my why. And the reason that I do this is really when I started my personal growth journey, I didn't have anyone to say, hey, me too, or hey, here, I can shine a flashlight on this path and show you a way. Not a way for you to take step by step, because we all need our own journeys, but just for a little bit of guidance and encouragement. And I didn't have that. And I believe, especially with all the trauma I have grown through, I went through so many different things, really traumatic situations and experiences, so that I could look at so many different women and say, hey, I get it. And it's not to compare trauma, and your trauma is yours. And I don't know what you're feeling, but I can empathize because I know what it's like to go through that scenario. And so that's what it's all tied up in that bow of what my why is. And and now I am 1000% all in. My time is not split anywhere. I'm not giving to anything but this business. And like we said earlier, I mean, there's so many things when you become a business owner. It's holy shit. There's a line in the beginning. Some are very fortunate to outsource a lot of duties, and that's great. For me, I wanted to know fundamentally how my business was being built. I wanted to build it through and through. And so now I'm starting to get more help, which is amazing. So if somebody helps with websites, I'm hiring when she turns 18, I'm hiring my daughter as my assistant. And then, like I said, I just have such a supportive family and network around me. But, we take on a lot as ourselves. And so you just have to do so many things to protect your energy. And I'm, like I said, very into woo. So I have crystals. I have shamans in my life. I have energy healers that are there to give me that extra bit of support. And oh my gosh, I just feel like I've been talking.
That's all important. No, I wanted you to get out what you want to share, what you're being called to share. What I will say, there is so much there that you talked about that it's just it's a wealth of information. And what I gather, the energy that I'm receiving and what I'm hearing, you've actually had a really great journey and transition in establishing your business. I would say you're one of the luckier ones, because not everyone has that alignment, that ease of things coming to them and knowing how they want to move forward. So that's really great. We don't want to, scare our audience into thinking entrepreneurship is just difficult all the time. There is a merit, there are rewards to it. And your journey as an entrepreneur can, be a little bit easier or a little bit harder. It's just the individual and their path.
Oh yeah. Well, I think just being so connected, to source energy, to whatever you believe in, and just knowing there's something else out there and it wants you to do good. It wants you to succeed. Whatever success looks like and means to you, it wants that for you. And we like to outsource a lot, even just not the tangible items, not the website building, but just what to do, what's the blueprint, what step do I take next? Do I go left or right? And when we can take the time to just in-source, to go within and ask ourselves, what do we want and why do we want it? It's still hard. There's still days where I'm oh my gosh, there's a lot on my plate today. But and I'll say this, I'm sure many more times, I've said it a few times, but having your why, it's one of the first things that I do with my clients and just with women that I know in general, hey, if you want something, why do you want it? And then don't stop at that. Ask yourself 3 to 10 more times until it's deep, until you have a visceral reaction and you really know why it is that you want it. Well, in the days that you don't want to push, that why is going to swoop in and it's going to be here's the energy that you need. And with that said, especially, I think this needs to be reminded to our entrepreneurs, it's okay to rest. You mentioned earlier, my motto is Envision, Hustle, Receive. And there's a difference between hustle and hustling. I think
Mm-hmm.
the envision part for me is being a visionary, having big, crazy, audacious, ambitious dreams, and knowing who I need to become to fulfill those dreams. And then manifest, like all that is in the envision part. And then the hustle is like
Mm-hmm.
taking those inspired action steps. If you feel like doing something, do it right away. Don't wait. Don't put a pin in it. Don't table it. Like if you have the availability to do it, just freaking do it, because we can become lazy and very and lazy is not bad, by the way, but we can become like very not disciplined and be like, hey, I'll do this
Mm-hmm.
later, and the next thing you know, you have a really long celebration list, which is most people call it to-do list. I like to celebrate everything, so I call it a celebration list. But so that's the hustle part, is like it's doing the things that need to get done, and
Mm-hmm.
while creating space for those lazy days. There's many days where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna put on Netflix and like lay on my couch all day, because energetically, like I just gave a lot yesterday. So
Mm-hmm.
today, this is what I'm gonna do. And I think that's just as important as pushing through the things that we need to do. That's because we don't want burnout, right? Like we don't want to always
Right.
say, okay, I'm going to do all the things no matter what, no matter what my energy is, because you're not going to be able to give 100% anyways, because you're depleted. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just not going to be a great situation. And then for sake of envision, hustle, receive, the receive is receiving with gratitude, and having that innate belief that like anything you want, anything you put out there, it will come to you. You just have to hold on to it. You just have to be in alignment to attract. And then I always
Mm-hmm.
believe it's like this or something better. Sometimes the universe is like, Janelle, you're saying you want this thing, but the emotion that you want is this, and we can give it to you even better if we do this thing. And I'm like, hey, I trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will lean in with curiosity and excitement and just a ton of gratitude, like gratitude on top of gratitude for all of it, for the things that were challenging and the things that are like, give you the butterflies in your tummy because it's so amazing.
You made another great point there with regards to, entrepreneurship and being able to rest. There's also the component of procrastination. We're all human, regardless of who you are. There is a point where you try to delay any activities or work that you have coming up. There's
Mm-hmm.
also the perception that as an entrepreneur, as a CEO at that it's go, 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 get things done, be on 100% of the time, 365 days of the year. But it is very important, as you stated, that you find time to rest, that you build that in, that you have sustainability in
Yes.
your personal life and your entrepreneurship role. Because otherwise, you're not performing at your best. You're not coming at it with inspiration and ideation if
Mm.
you're tired from the grind and the hustle. So, that was a very great point. Something else
Yeah.
I wanted to come back to was your discussion on LOA, the law of attraction and manifestation. I am all for that. I include that in my coaching as well. And let me tell you, a lot of people actually practice that. They just may not be aware as to how they're doing it or when they're doing it,
Yeah.
or if they do practice and they're aware, they're not doing it right. It's not just thinking a thought or saying something and then, oh, it's coming. There has to be action behind it. You have to support what you want, right? and
Yes.
and, and that abundance.
Yes, that's why I say envision, hustle, receive. Like you can't just sit on your couch and like daydream and poof, it's there. And
Mm-hmm.
with a caveat of when you do, so I think it's the same thing that you just said. There's like intentionally manifesting and unintentionally manifesting. And even if you know what you want, but you have a lot of healing work to do, and this is why I do a lot of the gratitude and forgiveness work, because you can be subconsciously blocking all the things that you want because you don't truly believe that they can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are many times where I've thought like of something that's happened. Like an example is I was sitting out last summer on my in my backyard, and I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, I really want a water feature. And again, I was thinking like, here's why I want it. It's like it's so like serene and just to listen to the water and relax and blah, blah, all the things. And my husband was like, maybe next year we'll get, like we're doing a lot this year. So maybe next year. And then the next time or like 2 times later, I go outside and my neighbor had bought a water feature. And so when I was sitting out sipping my tea, I could hear their water feature. And it wasn't that I
Mm-hmm.
even wanted the water feature. I wanted the sound of the water trickling down, and I was receiving that.
Oh.
So it can happen like that, but no, like I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe in like even luck is sometimes a tricky word. I think luck is like pairing all of the perfect puzzle pieces to get to the point then like you're really lucky. I believe I'm very blessed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I'm not scared of work, and I think that we have to, it comes back to like our energy. You have feminine and masculine energy, and you've got to be in balance with both of them. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
resting and it's working. It's like play
Yes.
and pause. And something else too is I always say we have to, the saying that fill up your cup, like, is your cup half full, half empty, all these things. Well, when we're thinking about what we can give to others, it's not about filling up your cup, even to the tippiest tops, because the
Mm-hmm.
second that somebody takes a drip, you're depleting yourself. So we've really got to fill to overflow. And then that's what we give is from the overflow. And the way to get overflow is taking the time to like, ask yourself, what do I need? Do I need a bath? Do I need to take a walk?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to play with my dog or see my children? Do I need to have a movie night? Do I have a list in my phone and it's just my joy list? It's like, here's the things
Mm-hmm.
that can quickly bring me joy. Because in order to attract the things that we want, we do have to be in a higher vibe state. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel all the emotions and I hold space for them, but then I know that we control our thoughts. And I say that with a lot of love because I've battled anxiety and depression for the majority of my
Mm-hmm.
life. So I know that can be a little triggering. And I don't always strive for happiness. Like sometimes it's just acceptance or just being neutral. But I like to live in joy. I like to live in
Mm-hmm.
gratitude. There's just so many things to be grateful for that when something happens and I'm kind of thrown back for a minute, I lean into like, why did this happen? What's the message? How can I get past this? If nothing's coming through to me, I mean, listen, there are days where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bed. Like this day deserves to be over. I will start back tomorrow. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I think that's just a part of this human experience that we all get to live together.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, shameless plug, guys. If you are not aware, I am doing a 21-day happiness challenge that starts in April. And you
Yeah.
mentioned your list of joy. And there
Yeah.
is one day of the 21 days where we actually have that as an activity to create a list that brings you joy so that when you are in a moment where you're feeling less than joyful or unhappy or maybe ungrateful for what you
Mm.
have, you can refer to that list and allow that to bring positive emotions out in you. So
Yeah.
just had to put that out there.
I love it. Oh my gosh, what a perfect time to plug that. Listen,
I
no
know.
shame ever. As entrepreneurs, like we need to do all that. And you're so kind. I just want to let these incredible people listening and watching know. I was talking to you about a cup that I have that has my business logo on it, and it says yes the fuck you can. So that's why I was sharing with her. It was I just love the cup because I think we can do all the things, right? And you were so kind. You were like, if you want to put that up, if you want to, share it, put it somewhere so people can see it, so you can advertise. And so you are so great about that I want to remind you to always plug your stuff as well.
Oh, thank you. I really truly believe in supporting our sisters, and that whole positive vibe where we want to elevate each other, right? It's not just something that I say just to say it. I really live it. And when I don't see others being that way, other women not supporting their sisters,
Mhm.
it's disappointing for me.
I know it's really sad. I'm the same way. I feel like truly we all rise together. Like if you have one person shining bright and another person comes along, you've just become brighter. You've just made it to where more
Mm-hmm.
women can find the energy that you now are cultivating with someone else. And it's
Mm-hmm.
now 3 people and 4 people. It's that ripple effect. And there's enough for all of us. Like if you're ever thinking that there's any type of lack, um, go outside. I learned this from this amazing lady. Her first name's Melanie. Her last name's not coming to my head. I'm so sorry because I want to give you credit, but she did this great activity where she just said, like, if you feel lack, go outside and take a breath of air. Like the
Mm-hmm.
abundance of air on a snowy day. Watch the millions of snowflakes fall. Like there are billions of people on the earth. Like there is
Mm-hmm.
no lack. The lack that we feel is truly within our minds, and we have the ability and the control to change that. So
Mm-hmm.
change that so that that like, yes, as sisters, we should just be supporting each other. Like I will rave about everyone that I know in our community. We have a lot of entrepreneurs. And so while entrepreneurship isn't like a focus of our community, which by the way, Synquility is personal growth and sisterhood. So that's like our pillars. we still have time to like shout out a sister, to talk about your business. I do bi-weekly entrepreneur circle, which is like a mini mastermind. And so it's like just this way of giving. Today I plugged 2 videos into our community on like how to do pricing, and then some entrepreneurship stuff of Q2 goals and how to set those. But I think just giving back in the best way that you can only makes you a better, more happier human being. Like we're meant to do this together. We're not meant to do it on our own. So
I love that.
Yeah, we all just need to support, and to know that you deserve support too. So everyone listening, like, it's okay to ask for help, just the way that it's okay to say, hey, I'm having a bad day today, and to remove all of the judgment. Like, even sometimes we get so scared that other people are going to judge us, and judgment and like expectations, like those are things that we project, which is so crazy, because if you're going to project things out there, then assume instead of somebody is going to judge me, oh my gosh, somebody's going to be so happy that I shared today. Oh my gosh, somebody's going to be so happy that I showed up and went all out because it gave them the permission that they needed. Oh my gosh, everybody wants to celebrate with me, beside me, for me. Like, that's the energy that I personally live in. So yeah, let's toot each other's horns while we toot our own.
Yes. And you know, that feeling of judgment, that really is tied to perfectionism. And perfectionism is also tied to shame, right? People will claim perfectionism, but they don't claim shame. Thank you, Brene Brown, for the words of wisdom.
oh my, she's one of my people that have influenced so much of my work and what I do.
She's amazing. She influences me as well. So we are in such alignment. But controversial, maybe, I gotta ask. You know, in my personal life and with my career as well, I'm part of various social groups, right? Some of them are about entrepreneurship, some of them are just about support systems.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times that you're invited to join these groups with the pretense that it's about, you know, support and elevating others. Maybe, you know, if it's a women's only group, supporting your sisters. But then you get into the group and it's like, no advertising, no sharing outside links, nothing. And it's like, so how are we supporting each other if we're not able to share what calls to us, what could benefit another individual? Like, how does that work? It seems like it's contradictory.
Yeah, I think that's why it was so important for me to have space for that. It's kind of like when you buy a house, right? You have space for your office, you have space for your kitchen, you have space for your living room. Like, you have all these different spaces. And I think when you open up a group, when you have a community, one that you are serious about and you want to nurture and you want to see the best for everyone in it, you need to create space for the things that everyone's going through. Like, in our community, we have sobriety circle. That's for our sisters who are sober curious, sober supporters to come and just have a space to be. It's not 12-step. It's a space to feel supported and seen and heard. We have the entrepreneur stuff. We have a plethora of Zoom connections where, like tonight, for example, we're doing story sharing night. So this is a time for women to come together. It's very intimate, and they share a part of their story. And it's not recorded. It's, all cell phones are put away. We really we show up for each other, because there are women who have gone through a lot and they need somebody to listen. I've had numerous women say, I've never shared that story. I never felt safe enough to share that story. And women in our community range from like late 20s to 60, maybe 70. I think 60 in their 60s is the eldest of them all. So we have a variety of wisdom. We have a variety of backgrounds. We have there's so much beauty and difference, and there's so much difference in our Syncquility community, which is what I love. Like, I love to go in there and just see what everyone's up to. And it's when you build that, and when it is a true sisterhood, when it's, deep in connection, we have sisters who have formed outside relationships, who have met up in physical form, or who go onto each other's pages just to get to know, okay, like, who is this woman? What is she about? What is she doing? And I think, though, it all does start from the top and how it is led, and the integrity that the leader has, and their vision. What is it that they want? And for me, like I said, it's about sisterhood. Like, sisterhood and personal growth, because personal growth like, we are always growing, evolving, changing, pivoting, shifting. That's what we're supposed to do. And because of the way that really saved me in 2013, I mean, that's near and dear to my heart. Like those fall equal to me. That's why they're the two pillars.
I love your model. I love how you've created this group where individuals can come in and they have different support systems, and you allow the space for folks to put out there what they're being called to put out there, regardless of the topic, right? You're not catering just to one specific individual. You're really spreading it out to ensure that everyone is supported and held in. And I love that. I will tell you, when I see any sort of negativity or toxicity or things where I feel like it's contradictory and not really elevating or uplifting its members, it's like, it's my time to step away and not interact, not engage, because I also feel like when you're in that environment, similar to manifesting or law of attraction, that negativity, if you're constantly dwelling on it, if you're a part of it, if it's surrounding you and whatever you do, you're actually reverse manifesting. You're bringing in additional negativity into your life.
Well, it's kind of like when we say, oh my gosh, I don't want this. Like, I don't want traffic. I don't want traffic. I don't want traffic. Well, you're going to get traffic.
You get that.
Like, number one, you're going to get it. And number two, like bringing in gratitude. That's a lot of people say, like, how do you embody gratitude? If I'm in traffic, instead of just getting pissed off, I'm looking at it like, okay, this is more time for solitude, or it's more time for a podcast, or to like think. Like, one of my favorite things to do is on a nice day is roll down all the windows and blast the radio and sing as loud as I can till like my throat hurts. And it's giving me more time for that. And so that like
I love that. It's like I'm stuck in traffic, but instead of saying, you know, framing it for the negative, you can think about the positives. Like you said, I get to listen to a podcast. I get to rock out to my music. Like there's ways of shifting the narrative.
Yeah. Anytime you're thinking like, I have to do this, just shift it to I get to, and just see how that alone changes, like emotionally changes you. Like gratitude emotionally changes us, and that therefore drives our thoughts around something that's going on, changes our perspective, and makes us want to do it more. I mean, more happily, like more positivity. Therefore, others are going to see and feel our energy and be affected by our energy. And it goes back to that ripple effect. Like if you can show up in a room and be all pissed off and angry and like cause others to be like, oh, what's going on with her? Or you can show up and kind of smile on your face and be like, hi, everyone. And they're like, oh, okay, like what is she doing? Like that's the magnetism that I want. I don't want to make people feel bad when I can make them feel good.
Yes. And if you guys don't know, you'll now be informed and made aware. Gratitude is not inherent. Like anything else, it's a practice. You have to do things to live in gratitude. Similar with manifesting, similar with law of attraction. These things they don't just happen. You have to help to get into the practice.
Yes. Oh my, it's a practice. It's a daily practice. That's what I say too. Yes. Like so many people, I mean, this is the work that I'm known for. And I like to remind them, like, I do wake up every day and I immediately feel gratitude, but it's not like every day I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the happiest person on the entire world. Nothing can bother me. And then every single day, that's how it is. Having that background of depression, there's many times where the slightest thing can happen. And I almost feel like I'm on the edge of a cliff and everything's beautiful. But then I get knocked over and I'm like pushed into this river and I'm drowning. I'm trying to like climb my way back up. So it's holding space for all of the emotions. But I mean, like we get to feel everything. But to feel gratitude is just knowing like, okay, well, even if I'm swimming to the top, like at least I'm swimming. Like at least I'm moving, at least I'm doing something. Like if you can't run, what do they say? Walk, you can't walk, crawl. Like there's just always a way to move forward, even if it's like inch by inch by inch. And knowing that you deserve that, like you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have acceptance. You deserve to live a life that you're obsessed with. And nothing and no one should ever stand in the way of that. And if that has happened, forgive yourself for that. And then decide, okay, what's the next best thing that I could do right now?
Yes. And as women, you know, this is what it is. We're caregivers. Naturally, we want to care for others and take care of others. And in doing that, we really forget to care for ourselves and care for ourselves properly, not just taking a 5-minute break here, you know, to stop cooking or cleaning or whatever it is that you have going on, right? what we
Yeah.
call invisible labor.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about actual self-care, meaningful time with meaningful intention where you are caring for your internal, your mental, your physical. Okay, it's important that you work that in. You have to be
Yeah.
selfish when it comes to your self-care, because if you don't care for yourself, you can't adequately care for anything outside of you.
Oh my gosh, what you and I are in like total alignment, because I proudly will say I preach on this, that as women, we don't want to say we're selfish. We try to paint the word up. We try to say, oh, we're selfless. To be selfish is selfless, right? So like I can be selfish, and like be selfish, because we deserve to be selfish and say, hey, I'm going to carve out this time for me. I'm only going to think about me. It doesn't matter if I have no kids, 10 kids, a husband, a wife, like none of that matters. You deserve to be your own individual person, and then take the time to care for yourself. Last week, I had my first ever retreat, and then I'm already, the demand for it was so quick. Yes, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm a dreamer, and I still wasn't able to dream of how beautiful and like magnificent that would have been. So I have my next one in June, but these women who are coming, who like, we had this time of just laughter. We were playing a game, and every single woman around the table was talking about how good it felt to just laugh, to not worry about what else was going on, and just to be there and be present and just laugh their asses off. And I'm like, we need this as women. We need to get away for a weekend. Like, you can make these things happen. And if somebody's listening right now and you're like, Janelle, I'm a single mom, I have no support, I have these children, I can't get away. Well, you know what? Get a blanket and go to the store, get some like cheese and crackers. If you're on a super tight budget, get some like Kraft cheese and Ritz. Like, I get it. And when your kids go to bed, you take that blanket and you roll it out in your living room, and you take some fresh picked flowers around your house, go on a walk, get some flowers, grab a candle, go to the Dollar Tree to get one, and make yourself a picnic. Like, show yourself that type of self-care and that type of self-love. And you don't have to get away to a beach getaway if you can't. If you can, though, do it. Like, invest into yourself. You are your greatest investment. So all type of energy. So physically, mentally, emotionally, your money, like, it all should go to you every single day for a pocket of time. At least one pocket of time, make that your time, and nobody else gets to come in. Like, that's about boundary setting too, though. Like, especially as moms, like, we need to have those boundaries. My children know, like, if I'm in the bath, I'm in the bath. Like, that's mommy's time. Like, you don't come into mommy's time.
That's important. That's a good point too. Boundaries, setting healthy boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Listen, we can talk about so many things and be here all day. Like, you and I, like you said, we're in such alignment. But I want to really get into, you've obviously talked about, alluded to, mentioned how you work and some of the things that you're putting out there, but inform the viewers what you have in terms of offerings.
Okay. Oh, this is so fun. Because I know I have so many things going on right now. So where do I start? I'm going to start with our membership, our sisterhood. And I just want to put this out there, because I have no shame in talking about prices and money, because money loves me and I love money, and everybody should. It's $15 a month. Like, we do 2 times a month. We have master classes, and all of our activities, all of it is $15 a month. There's no add-ons to that. That is increasing in June to $19.99, but anyone who joins between now and June, everyone, of course, that's in there is grandmothered into that
That's like 2
membership.
Coffees,
it's like 2 coffees, yeah. And then I have my gratitude forgiveness course that currently is $150, and it's 7 modules, self-paced. It's all online. You can go through it. I'm here for support as a one-on-one coach too. Of course, I have some private clients, but you can get a lot out of that course. That's what it was meant to be for. And then I have masterminds I do for a year. I'm currently running my gratitude and forgiveness. The next one up is doing it your way. So it's really like deciding your identity and transformation and understanding like what you want, who you are. And then manifesting abundance. This is where I start helping women become manifesting queens and manifesting with intention. And then I end the year with pure magic. And that's like, okay, you've done all the work. You've healed yourself. You've healed your relationships. You understand who you are, what you want. You understand how to manifest. Like, now let's live in our magic. So those are those. And then, gosh, I hope I'm not forgetting anything. You know what? If you go to Syncquility.com, it's just all housed on the website. So including all of my personal coaching, everything that I do is
Yes, that is great. So if she happens to forget something, to her point, go to her website. She's also on Instagram. How else can folks get in touch with you?
So Instagram is Mrs. Janelle M or Syncquility_Sisterhood, and Synquility is spelled SYNCQUILITY because it's not a word, just in case you're like, well, what the hell? And then, so you can find me on either one of those. Everything on Facebook pretty much is private and for family outside of the community, which we do have a community Facebook group. But find those or go to my website, syncquility.com. And I love to connect with women. So even if you just have a question from this or you just need somebody to talk to, I would love to carve out some time to meet you where you are.
Yay, I love it. And guys, as usual, all the details will go into the podcast, YouTube details. As I always say, if you're listening, go to YouTube, watch the visual because you get so much more. You can see us, our faces, our mannerisms. You can see how beautiful Janelle looks.
How gorgeous Evelyn is.
Oh, thank you. So Janelle, before I let you go, is there anything else that you want to share that I may not have asked, or that you're inspired and compelled to put out there?
It's more so a reminder. I just want to remind women that to take a deep breath. I just did that with intention. I took a deep breath and just take moments to pause, to be still, and to think about all the things that you can be grateful for, but then pair that with celebration. Like literally throw yourself a party, a dance party, tap yourself on the back when you walk by the mirror, like high five yourself in the mirror, because you deserve celebration. And don't wait on anybody else to celebrate you. Don't wait on some big goal to crush. Like celebrate every single day. Find something to celebrate within that day.
Yes, and celebrations don't have to be, big. It can be something very small and minor.
Yeah. Like put some water in a fancy cup and like cheers yourself. I mean, it's the tiniest thing but it raises your energy. Like your vibrations go up.
Yes. And we're all about positive energy, positive vibrations.
Yes. Thank you. But not toxic positivity, but positive.
Yes. I am so grateful and so happy that you made the time to come on the podcast today and share your expertise and your words of wisdom. It's been fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And to those listening, thank you so much for your time.
You are so welcome. All right, guys, as I always say, preparation, accountability, execution, and resolve are keys to your success. Until next time.